hi. I was asked to speak about health and wellness, and I'm just going to give it a go. This is talk 1. As always, I think it's very important for you to use your inner guidance system, your inner GPS, and anything I'm saying here, you will have to use your own discernment. I'm not at all believing or thinking that what I am sharing here is the truth. What I'm sharing here will be my own inner guidance and somewhat my experiences over, I guess, I've always all my life been studying health and wellness. One way or another, it has always intrigued me. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not someone who is going to claim that she is super healthy. But I do know that we are always shifting, we are always changing and healing. And I do believe that healing occurs from the inside out. And as a holistic practitioner, I do believe that everybody can heal themselves unless it is for them time to leave the planet and pass. We all have an expiry date, and whatever we do when that expiry date is coming up, it's not avoidable. So what are my topics today? I think, but I'm very intuitive, I go with the flow. I think I'm going to talk about EFT research, emotional freedom research. I think I'm going to talk about the immune system, stress. I'm going to share a recipe here that is actually really wonderful to keep the body healthy and to avoid overgrowth of harmful bacteria, to heal something that is not supposed to be in our body. But first I'm going to share something that I wanted to share with you for a very long time, and I've been debating with myself on this topic, whether to share it or whether to keep it to myself, because nowadays people are seemingly so easily offended. In my opinion, when someone is offended by another person, instead of reacting to what is being said or what they are being accused of, to first go inward and see what the trigger is all about. And start to really give it time to heal. As the indigenous people in North America say, all my relations are all living beings, and even what we think are not living energies, planets. But when we are being offended, there is a trigger within ourselves that is a shadow part of us, and that needs to be looked at and healed. And therefore we can say in a way that all the triggers, the people that are causing the triggers, or it may be a news article, a book or a movie. When we feel emotional about it and it's not a happy emotion, then we have to go inward and see where is that coming from. And it usually is from an event or an entire experience that we have had in the past. Therefore, all my relations are very important for our self-healing. And that brings me to the topic of our immune system. We have had some very challenging years, and I think many of us are still dealing with the aftermath of that experience. And I wanted to discuss the immune system for an important reason. And why do I want to do that? Well, let me start with a story. In 1999, in April, I gave birth to my first son, my first child. And it was a wonderful pregnancy, and the birth was uncomplicated. So my partner and me, my love and me, we considered ourselves very, very lucky. We had a healthy baby boy, and there were no complications. I felt well. The birth itself went pretty fast. And that was very powerful. That was a good feeling. I'm from the Netherlands, as you can hear, and there at that time we still had a lot of help. So there are these special nurses that come to your house to help you and your family to settle in the first 7 to 10 days with your baby, and to help the new mother with, breastfeeding and resting. So she kind of takes over the household. She cooks, she cleans, and when there are siblings, she takes care of the siblings. So, isn't that wonderful? And I felt so very lucky with that. Because I am now aware, as I'm living in Canada, that that's not here being offered. But that's not the point, and that's not really what I wanted to discuss. So what I wanted to discuss and chat with you about was that even though it all went fairly easily for me and my love and my baby, our baby, a few months into being a new mom, I had what probably was a virus or a cold or flu. And I think looking back is that I didn't really give myself enough time to heal, to rest. When my son was sleeping, I was doing some cleaning work, or I was cooking some meals. And when I got that cold, I didn't rest enough. Looking back, I think that's what happened. I was sick for maybe a week. I was coughing, had sinus infection, sore throat, and all those things. But I just kept on going, and I didn't really listen to my body. But after a while, it went away, and I didn't even give it more thought. I was just like, oh well, that's gone. So I got even busier with looking after our child, doing all the things a young mom has to do, and I went back to work, part-time job, and busy. One bad morning, I woke up and my joints were swollen. My knees, my ankles, my wrists, my elbows. Everything was painful and swollen. Everything was inflamed, very hot. I could barely walk. It was extremely painful. So I had to call my mom, who came right away, and my mother-in-law, who was living close by also. And they took me to the family doctor. And he looked at me and, said, oh my gosh. And he knew I recently had my first baby. And he said, did you recently have a cold? A flu-like cold with maybe chills and aches? And I said, yeah, a few months ago. But it went away after 5 days. And I remember clearly that he said, you had a storm, a cytokine storm. Your immune system is overwhelmed. When you had that flu, it didn't know anymore what to do, where to go. You were in a storm. Now you are in a storm caused by that cold. Your immune system had to respond to it, clean it up for you. But as a young mom, your hormonal balance is probably not balanced. And can I ask you, are you very stressed? How is it for you to be a young mom? And I remember I started to cry and said, I think I suck at it. I don't think I'm a good mom. And in that moment I realized, actually, I finally did some internal investigation and I noticed that I was severely stressed out, close to a burnout. And I was very unhappy. And now I had this. And I said to my doctor, so what are we going to do now? I don't feel good at all. He said, I've seen this more. It's because your body's immune system is over responding and it's overwhelmed. So it's kind of attacking you. It's now attacking your body, and we call that a storm. So this can go two ways. I'm going to give you drugs, prednisone, and you can either end up for the rest of your life in a wheelchair, or in a few days, 10 days or so, you will be able to move forward with your life and you will be able to walk again and the symptoms will leave you. I've seen this many times before, and usually with prednisone and rest and making some life changes, you will be your old self again soon enough. But he said, I cannot guarantee it. So I started to take the prednisone, and my love began to look after me. He had a very busy job, so he was not home a lot. So he decided to take some time off and look after our son and help me recover and somehow get rid of this immense stress that nobody really noticed I had, including myself. So a few days later, I noticed the symptoms were decreasing. the inflammation in my knees, my joints, was getting less and less, thank goodness. And I think, honestly, that my partner was a big factor in my healing process, besides my prednisone that I was taking. I think the 4th or the 5th day of the start of my symptoms, he took me to the zoo. He took me out of the house with our son. He said, okay, let's go do something. You need to move and you need to focus on something else. You're worried, you're concerned. And then all this time I was looking in his eyes. I could see in his eyes that he was not worried one bit of my recovery. He believed 100% that I was going to be fine and that we were going to be fine. He didn't seem to be affected by the idea of his wife being in a wheelchair for the rest of our lives together. Not one bit. And if he was concerned, he was really hiding it from me in a really, really well manner. Every time I looked him in the eyes, there was no pity. There was no, I feel sorry for you or what you have to go through. There was just positivity and hope. Nothing that made me doubt my own inner healing capacity. He gave me the courage to know that and feel that I was going to be okay again. And that is a very important factor. He focused on me being whole and complete. And he was not focusing on what was ailing me, on my symptoms in that moment. So I have a lot to be grateful for, and this was about 24 years ago. I was still young and experienced. He was still young and inexperienced. And a lot of people often think I don't like conventional medicine as a holistic practitioner and an intuitive. But that's a wrong conception of me, because sometimes we really do need it and we do benefit from it. And in my case, the prednisone was my lifesaver. It reduced the inflammation and gave my immune system what it needed. Of course, I still had a hormonal imbalance. And I really sucked at self-care. And I really, I guess, sucked at understanding how stressed I was under on a subconscious level, because I felt quite happy, but at the same time, subconsciously, I really felt I was sucking as a mother. I couldn't, breastfeed my child. I couldn't keep the house clean and cook and do everything else while looking after him. He took a lot of my focus. And I think subconsciously was blaming myself for that. But having a positive partner when I was having those symptoms made a difference. And the storm left pretty quick. And up to this day, I am severely grateful for those lessons in my life. Later on, I started to put these puzzle pieces together. And that was after I refocused on my mission in my life. And my mission in my life, I think, is understanding health and well-being on a holistic level, all levels, emotional, physical, energetical, mental, everything together, and then tapping into different aspects of that, not just alternative, but the entire aspect of it. I had in 2002 I started to study cancer because of sad circumstances, and I noticed the powerlessness of conventional medicine when it came to helping someone we loved dearly who had cancer. So I decided to study that. Try to understand what is cancer. So I started to read all different books, different ideas, different concepts. What is cancer? And as a very deep feeling person, I intuitively sometimes think I know what resonates with me, or I just know what resonates with me. And once again, take from this talk what resonates with you, and if nothing resonates with you, that's perfectly fine. I'm not stating that what I claim here and share it here is the truth. This is an intuitive summary of my findings, but I do research. So I research on different levels. Okay? So I do research biology, the biology and the physicality of us humans. So I studied the immune system all over again. And this is kind of my finding. Our immune system is a very precious part of us, and it can be very vulnerable. Our immune system is more than anything a defense system. A defense. And when it's alert and awakens, it will find anything and clean it up. It will clean it up, okay? How does it clean it up? Well, it's been eaten, When someone has certain symptoms, okay? So I'm going to just randomly say some symptoms that some of the conventional medicine professionals see as a disease, and I call it symptoms because to me, as an intuitive healer, these symptoms or these diseases are symptoms of a compromised immune system, an overwhelmed immune system that doesn't know anymore what to do, where to go, what to focus on. Just like when I was in that storm and I had this joint inflammation in my body from just one night, overnight, that happened because my immune system, due to the stress and probably hormonal imbalances and overtiredness, didn't anymore what was the enemy, so it started to attack my body. So people who have an overwhelmed immune system, let me see, one of the symptoms is allergies. Okay, that is an overwhelmed, compromised immune system. Another symptom, and they don't all go together, it can be separate, Having constant sore throats. Another one can be having digestive issues. For example, a lot of constipation and diarrhea, like belly aches, bad aches in the stomach, in the digestive system. Other people may have migraines, headaches, chronic fatigue, bronchitis, asthma. All these are, in my opinion, and then you can decide for yourself how you feel about that, are symptoms of a overwhelmed immune system, including obviously arthritis and those types of inflammations. And it usually starts with healthy gut. When we are stressed, it will affect our gut health right away, just right away. Diarrhea, constipation can really be caused by stress, by daily stress, chronic stress. And that's where it can start, where a lot of mayhem can start. So I can take it a step further, and maybe you're going to be shocked by what I have to say. But these are my findings, intuitively, but I've done research. Every day my body is making cancer cells. Every day your body is making cancer cells. Because what is cancer? Cancer, in my opinion and in my intuitive feelings, are cells that are thinking they are doing something okay for you. They're thinking they are helping you. Why are they thinking that? It's because you are in need of extra cells many times of the day. So they start to divide and divide. When we have a healthy immune system, it's going to be cleaned up. When my white blood cells are not busy fighting an allergy, fighting a cold, a sore throat, my immune cells, my white blood cells, will find these cancer cells and eat them up and get rid of them. When someone is in a chronic state of alertness, of stress, we sometimes call that, or often call that, in fight or flight mode. The immune system will not understand that there is an overwhelm. It will just go to there where the white blood cells think they are needed. So they are going to clean up constantly what they think is attacking us. And it will oversee or forget to see the cancer cells. And then it can grow. Recently, I took on the study of German medicine. And German medicine is a very interesting theory. And a big chunk of that really resonates with me as well. So when someone is in a chronic stress situation, and a chronic stress situation in the Western world especially, people are stressed all the time. And when we are stressed all the time, our oxygen will go to our extremities, to our arms, our legs, and the brain will not get that much blood supply. it's as if we are having to run for the saber-toothed tiger. But we are created, we are designed to really have that amount of stress, fight or flight, for a couple of minutes. That's how we are designed. So we can run or we can fight an immediate danger. Some animal wants to eat us, for example, or an enemy tribe is running after me and wants to kill me. So that's how we are designed. We are not designed to be stressful 24/7 for years in a row. And when we are, our body is going to respond to that, not just by choosing where our oxygen will be going, and it won't be the brain, because the last thing we need when we want to fight or flight is like brain capacity or bowel movements or any of that stuff. No, we have to get our strength from running away or fighting. Therefore, a lot of people have digestive issues and brain issues. What I've learned with German medicine is super interesting. So when we are in that state, that anxious state all the time, for example, the lungs may think and believe that Diana, as she wants to run away from her imaginary enemy because she's stressed all the time, because her boss is not nice, he's a bully, or she has financial issues and is thinking about that all the time, then her lung cells may think she needs more oxygen. She's not getting enough oxygen. There's an alert, there's an alarm. She needs more oxygen. Then my lung cells are going to divide at a certain spot, let's say the epithelium, okay, the lining of my lungs. And it's going to divide and divide and divide. And since my immune system is already busy elsewhere because I'm so stressed, I have a constant sore throat and I have allergies and constipation. So it's like, my white blood cells don't know anymore where to go, what to do about my wellness and my health. They're trying to take out the fire all the time, and it's just missing out on that my lungs are thinking, Diana needs more oxygen, we're going to make more cells. And making more cells and making more cells, and like a weird set of cells are being created by my lungs. Because my lungs think I need more oxygen. My brain is signaling to my lungs, hey, Diana needs more oxygen because I'm not getting much of that. That's cancer. Lung cancer. That's German medicine. And my immune system, my white blood cells are busy elsewhere. They don't see it. Because they would probably know that my lungs are perfect as they are, and it's my stress situation that's causing my brain to be oxygen depleted all the time. Even at night when I'm having night dreams or nightmares, I'm still producing too much cortisol, adrenal, and the whole shebang, making me super exhausted. So that's how I see it. So what to do? There are many different tools to prevent this from happening. First of all, I want to read something. All right? I want to read something. Because I am not doing this to make you feel miserable. I am here to empower you. Here we go. Yep, I'm wearing reading glasses. Oh dear, now of course it's gone, so now I have to look it up again. Okay, here we go. And I will probably post this under the video. All right, here we go. When someone says your body is broken and can't heal, then remember that you have new stomach cells every 3 to 5 days. New skin every 4 weeks. New red blood cells every 3 to 4 months. A new liver every 2 years. A new body every 7 years. And then there is more. A new skeletal system every decade. Never, ever, ever underestimate your own power, no matter what other people and professionals are telling you. You are a powerful being. Learning how to self-regulate, and that means changing your thoughts, changing your beliefs, helping your body to calm down, meditation, sports, being active, because did you know that we all need to be very active in order to quiet down? And what are we all doing, you know? Most of us are having a job where we sit most of the time. And our body is screaming for that booster of the circulation, booster of the lymphatic. When we move, we move our lymphatic. We move so we can get rid of what our white blood cells are cleaning up. And it has to be, we have to excrete it one way or another. And when we're sitting down, that's just not really happening. Except for in the sauna. Another tool is, for example, one of my favorite to self-regulate, besides guided meditation and meditations, is emotional freedom technique, EFT tapping. All right, I'm gonna read. So I've studied EFT tapping for many years. I've seen the results of it, and they are magnificent. For a year, I had a tapping buddy, and she and me, we tapped once a week, and we went through our entire lives that far. I'm talking several years ago, and we were looking at our pain points in our lives, our traumas, and do a lot of self-realization and releasing the trauma, the emotions from our body at the same time. Because our body keeps the score. Our body remembers as if it's our, I don't know how to say it, but it holds on to our trauma and our stress. It's a beautiful, unique tool, but you have to know how to use the body. And EFT is an excellent tool. So this is the Science of Tapping. By Dr. Peter Stapleton, and she's from Australia. She's a psychologist, and she's doing a lot of research on EFT. And she has proven, peer-reviewed by, I think, Carl Dawson or Gary Gregg, I'm not sure, I think Carl Dawson, that EFT really works. So I'm going to read to you about anxiety. Bear with me. Because anxiety and stress are almost the same in a way. It's emotional state of fight or flight, And we have to learn to regulate that in order to calm our immune system, to calm our body, to calm our mind, to understand ourselves better on a deeper level in our relationships, and especially to calm our digestive system, to help our precious tool, our immune system, to make sure our body is not making extra cells, which is cancer, or doing other things that are going to create undesirable symptoms, right? Okay, so this is what she wrote. The research on anxiety. An anxiety disorder is characterized by feelings of worry, anxiety, or fear to an extent that interferes in daily functioning, and it is one of the most common mental illnesses in the US. It affects 18.1% of the population every year, and although it's highly treatable, only 36.9% of those suffering receive treatment. We know sufferers are seeking help because people with an anxiety disorder are 3 to 5 times more likely to go to the doctor. This is an area that has featured significantly in the EFT research studies because anxiousness is typically felt physically, and tapping has become a useful strategy to calm the body. One of the first large-scale studies involved 5,000 patients seeking treatment for anxiety across 11 clinics over a 5.5-year period. Patients were allocated to a traditional psychological treatment, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, that included medication if needed, or acupoint treatment, that is the precursor to TFT, which is the precursor to EFT, without any medication. Interviewers who were blind to the treatment modality placed each patient into one of 3 categories at the close of therapy, at 1 month, at 3 months, at 6 months, and at 12 months later. The 3 categories were no improvement with the presenting problem, some improvement or complete remission. The raters did not know if the patient received CBT plus maybe medication or tapping. They only knew the initial diagnosis, the symptoms, and the severity, as judged by the intake assessment staff. Complete remission was reported by 76% of the patients in the acupoint group and 51% of the CBT group. Some improvement to complete remission was reported by 90% of the patients in the acupoint group, the EFT group, and 63% of the CBT group. Those 90% of acupoint patients improved in an average of only 3 sessions, compared to an average of 15 sessions for the CBT patients, so the ones that had counseling plus maybe medication. 1 year later, 78% of the acupoint group maintained their improvements, 78%, compared with 69% of the CBT group. So, 90% showed improvement with energy medicine, EFT tapping, and 63% with the regular conventional treatment. And after 1 year, there was still a significant positive result in the ones that did the energy medicine, the EFT, compared with a lower percentage of the conventional medicine. Then it goes on a little bit about other things. Okay. Let me see where I go now. Then there was another study. This study included an inspection of brain changes after treatment for anxiety. It was the first EFT study and used pre- and post-treatment functional brain imaging through computerized EEG, evoked potentials, and topographic mapping. I will post the website so you can take a look at it yourself later on. A decrease in the intensity and frequency of generalized anxiety disorder, GAD symptoms, was associated with shifts towards normal levels of wave frequency ratios in the brain's cortex. The pattern shown in the study's images was typical for anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder patients in the South American study who responded positively to the stimulation of the acupoints. The images in the study show the shift of red, highly dysfunctional waves, to blue, calmer states in the central and frontal areas of the brain. This corresponded with a decrease in anxiety symptoms in intensity and frequency. Patients who received CBT with medication, so the regular conventional counseling, also showed similar changes in their scans, but they took a longer treatment time to achieve this. So it took more sessions, so it cost more, and it took longer. What is also very important to note is that at 1 year follow-up, the conventional patient scans were more likely to have returned to their pre-treatment levels than the acupoint patients. Now that doesn't surprise me at all, and from my experience, all what I have been reading so far to you confirms my findings too. Furthermore, the patients who mainly only took anti-anxiety medication still reported a reduction of symptoms, but their brain scans did not show noticeable changes in the wave patterns. This may have indicated that the medication was suppressing the symptoms without addressing the underlying wave frequency imbalances. So, in other words, suppressing with medication, not going to the root, is a typical thing for conventional medicine, and it means that patients will have to use these medications for the rest of their lives. At least that's what they believe, and it is very, in my opinion, disempowering. Plus, medication always has side effects. My observation is that what goes in must come out, and usually chemical drugs, synthetic drugs, come out in a place you don't want it to come out. It will cause stomach problems, and then you have to take meds for the stomach problems, and maybe it causes high blood pressure, you name it. One thing leads to the other, and the anxiety, why someone has anxiety, is not being addressed. I prefer to give people tools at all time. My goal, and the goal of, I would say 99.9% of holistic practitioners, alternative practitioners, is to give our patients the tools. And we don't want them to be a forever patient. We don't want them to milk them out for money. We don't want that. At least not, I don't want this. Peter Stapleton, the psychologist, she does not want that. It is not okay to make people forever customers when there is another solution. It is not okay to do these things. And I feel the need for education, and that's why I do these talks. Whether you like it or not, if you want to learn something new, you are welcome to listen to me. You're very welcome to make your own conclusions, to come to your own conclusions. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm here to empower you. That's my job. I'm here to empower our youth, our adolescents, our children. I don't want them to be dependent on pharmaceuticals unless it's really needed. Sometimes it's needed. I'm not anti. When I had that episode where I thought I might have ended up in a wheelchair, I blessed those pharmaceuticals. When I break an arm, I will go to the hospital when I have a heart attack or something. You know, all those things. I have someone I love dearly and they have a disease that apparently cannot be healed. And if that person didn't take those meds, I mean, these meds are saving their lives, okay? So don't get me wrong, but I just want to put my finger on where I think education might be needed for those who want to hear me. For those who want to hear me, that's all I'm saying. So I'm planning on doing different things here, and I'm hoping that I can do more of these talks. This is talk 1 about the immune system, my idea how diseases are being created, and how to handle or prevent, especially prevent diseases from occurring. But I will also go into other directions. I am a spiritual counselor. I am an intuitive. So I will not just go on and on about our physical health. I will be here, even say political things. I will talk about things that bother me and that I want to share with you, so maybe I can shine some light on it from a different perspective. And once again, if you don't like what I say, do some inner work, turn off my channel. Everything is fine. But that's my plan. That is what I'm going to do. And I will step on toes. I will definitely do that, because I feel that's my calling right now. I've been witnessing this world for a very long time, and I've been keeping quiet for a very long time. And I'm really an introvert. I don't like being in the public eye. I don't like doing these talks. Believe me, I don't. But I'm being pushed, because enough is enough. It really is enough. I've seen so much in my life, and I do believe in free choice, and I do believe in that we are all walking our own path, our own journey. We are on our own journey, and really we're walking each other home. That's what we do. But it started in 2020 that I was really rattled. And people were making decisions that had no idea about health and wellness. They were maybe listening to people who were claiming they were the professionals, but not all professionals were listened to. So, who were listened to? The people with the biggest mouths, or with the most money behind them? Like I said, a part of the pharmaceutical industry is greedy and corrupted. So overwhelming immune systems by putting a lot of fear in the air, a lot of anxiety. What is that going to do to someone's immune system when it's a 24/7 attack? And putting people in fight or flight. And then claiming that there's only one solution. Putting more strain on that immune system, even when people are completely healthy and didn't have any comorbidities. I don't know about you, and you're welcome to disagree with me, but after years of studying and feeling into all this, I knew this was not in the best good of all people. And you're welcome to disagree with me, but didn't you notice rapid cancers? Did you listen to what I've told you, what I've shared with you in this hour? And are you connecting the puzzle pieces? Do you understand where I was going? I hope you do. But if not, you walk your path, and I'm okay with that. You do, you walk your path, I walk mine. But here comes that thing. The one thing that bothered me, that I'm still dealing with, is the huge amount of pressure and coercion put onto people. To go against their own intuition and to go against their own inner authority, to make them choose between one or the other, their livelihood, or what they feel is not in the highest good of them, their body. That alone can cause illness, let alone putting things in someone's body that's not always aligned with what the body needs. Compromising the immune system more and more and more. Of course, this is everyone's choice, and I'm not judging anybody who wants to go for it all the time. I respect your choice. I've always respected people's choices. And with me, all my like-minded tribe people, we have respected everybody's choices. If you want to go the conventional route 100%, bless you, you go for it. You know what's best for you. But then, what happened a few years ago was a criminal act. And I won't be quiet about it, because when it goes against your belief system, and after all, these interventions didn't even do what the politicians were promising us, then we can wonder, what was the motivation behind all this? Was it ignorance? Or was it more than ignorance? I know what it is, but I'll leave it to you to think about it. I'm gonna leave with some empowerment, as I promised, okay? Something that has helped me immensely in staying healthy, to keep my body in a okay state, a good state of health. It is a remedy. I don't know how to call it because I don't want to trigger YouTube's AI. So I'm just gonna read the recipe to you. I'm gonna leave the recipe in the comments for you. So what I do, I get ginger, turmeric, whether powder or fresh turmeric, garlic, clove, cumin, parsil. Let me see if I'm not forgetting something. Spanish pepper, organic apple cider vinegar, and I put it all in a jar. So I crush it, or I cut it finely, anything. It's not that I want to put it on whole in there. It's just all kind of like fine. I mix it with the apple cider vinegar in a jar, not more than 500 ml. And I put it in the fridge with a lid on it, and I shake it once a day. And I do this for officially, I think, 2 weeks. I did longer because, I have a lot on my plate and I forgot about it. So it had been there for quite some time, fermenting. But 2 weeks should be long enough. And then you filter it and you keep obviously the fluid. And you take 2 tablespoons a day in the morning, preferably in a glass of water. You mix it, you stir it, and you drink it. And this, my friends, is a powerful, powerful remedy to keep certain things under control. Certain germs that may want to spread too much, that want to, sometimes we're battling with, things we can catch in our daily life, at the stores or at our work or school. But I also feel it helps for other things. UTIs, you name it, infections. And it cleans up the part of the germs that are not in your benefit. Like when it's overgrowing, even yeast, this is, a powerful way to keep that all balanced, to keep a healthy biodome within your body. May not taste so well, but if it works, it works. So I wanted to end with this positive note to give you a tool besides the EFT tapping and the ideas about our immune system, our health, symptoms, cancer. And leave a comment if you want. And I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, see you next time. And thanks so much for having patience to listen to me for an hour and to stick with me. All right, see you next time. Bye.